Alright guys, so we're out here in California. We're actually about to go do some more testing on the ruck trainer. But before we do that, we got to get ready. So I got to fuel myself appropriately. So I just wanted to go over kind of what I do to fuel for any sort of long distance event, rucks, marathons, adventure races. For me, it's all kind of the same. I start off, I always got to have my coffee, and we'll go over that in a second. But then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a quick bagel. So I've got everything bagels. I'm going to do a little bit of peanut butter on that with some honey, and I'm gonna slice up a banana and put on top, and then I'll wash it down with a little protein. You know, when I was in the military, we used to do a lot of these rucks, and especially for like the train ups, and I didn't really take my nutrition seriously, and I, you know, didn't really realize the effect it was having on me. So once I got out and I started running marathons, I started to learn more about nutrition and realized that I was really doing myself a disservice by not being appropriately fueled. So that's what we're gonna get into now. First thing though, I gotta get the coffee going. So a lot of people, they think that the coffee is just to get you up and get you energized for the day, which it is. But another big part about the coffee is it makes you go number 2. And that's one of the most important things. Last thing you want to do is get on one of these rucks or a run, get out in the woods or in the city, and then you got to stop and go. And I've had that happen to me before. You start a run and with all your clothes and you finish it with no socks because you had to find something to wipe with. Abel, I need help with this, clearly.
For the single serve coffee Chemex. It's really simple. You just fold it over once.
Cannot figure these things out.
This is all for my wannabe pour over coffee newbies. Flip it over again on itself.
That's the step I forgot. All right, so the original plan for this trip was we were gonna do the standard Army 12 mile. So 35 pounds dry, so 35 pound ruck before water, 12 miles, 3 hours or less. So that was the goal, that was the plan. And then that all came crashing down. Actually, 1 week ago today, I was doing a trail run and I stepped on a root and my ankle rolled like worse than I've ever rolled before. It popped. I thought it was broken in the middle of the woods. But I've been getting a little bit better. It was non-weight bearing for a few days, but now I'm actually able to move it. So I got it wrapped up and we're gonna see what we can do. It's just not gonna be able to go for the 12 mile right now. When that happened too, I was like, fuck, I'm in the middle of the woods. Like I cannot get out of here. I was looking for sticks to make a, like a walking stick with, and then I walked for a little bit. It kind of felt a little bit better, and then I was like, maybe I can try to run. So I took a couple steps. Nope, not happening. And then as soon as I got to the car and stopped, it just all started to tighten up, and that was it. All right, so what I got here is I got a little everything bagel. I'm only going to use half of that. I got about 2 tablespoons of peanut butter I spread on top. I sliced up a banana, and then I covered it with a little bit of honey, about a tablespoon of honey. This is something that I like to do before a run. Like I said, a run or a marathon adventure race, it works for me. Nutrition though is not a one size fits all. So everybody, they have different restrictions, different needs. Some people might not be able to tolerate this in the morning. It's just what I found that works for me. So you can try it. If it works for you, good. If not, you can modify it. You can add bacon. I've done that before. You can put different fruits, whatever you want. But this is just something I like to do before a run or a ruck. It'll get me through the first part. You still got to make sure you're fueling throughout, but this is a good starter to get you through the first like half of it. The day before, you want to really start hydrating. I like to try to get close to a gallon. I know it can be kind of tedious. I know yesterday I might have been 2 of these, so these are 2 quarts. No, these are more than a quart, so a little over a half gallon. So I should be pretty good. We're not going to be going too long, but if you know like it's a marathon or it's a 12 mile that you're doing for time, you definitely want to make sure you're hydrated. So definitely try to get that full gallon in the day before. If you're starting, you know, like a lot of military guys like to go out the night before and you'll wind up showing up drunk and just pushing through it. You know, it's a technique, but it's not the best technique. Definitely want to make sure you're giving yourself your best chance by hydrating properly and getting the proper nutrition. All right, what's up guys? So here we are out at Two Trees Trail. Getting ready to go test out this ruck trainer. So this one here, you'll notice that this is the prototype version 1 basically. So we just had a new one built where we moved this mounting point down a little bit and angled it out. And you'll see when I put the weight on, the reason we did that was just for a little bit added safety cushion between your head and the plate. But we got it to a spot now where if you take a fall, it shouldn't interfere with your head at all. So you see we've got our 2-quart canteen mounted on the bottom here. So we've got our water source. I've got one of our pouches on here, just some random foot care things. Squirrel's nut butter, of course, I got to be putting that on. Today decided to go with a 35 pound. We got the 35 pound plate, which when you're doing your 12 mile in selection, or I'm sorry, in the Q course or the regular Army 12 mile, it's going to be 35 pounds dry. So again, what that means is 35 pounds before your water. So today we're going with the 35 pound plate. I'm going to strap that thing on here. Got the weight nice and high right where you want it, right between the shoulder blades. You don't want it too low, you don't want it too high, but you want to have it nice and tight against your body. So this is really the ideal mounting location for that. So another thing, the new feature that we just got finished up is we have this Molly plate, or this Molly fabric part on the back here. And so what that does is it allows us to mount both our water quart or our 2-quart, but also any other thing. So like right now we've got one of our pouches on here. If you got a different pouch that you like, you can put that on. But yeah, so we're excited about this little thing. It's going to be a lot of added versatility for this ruck trainer. Yeah, so now we're going to get out and we're going to put this thing through its paces.
What's up, guys? Did you know that the Mentor program is now live? That's right, we're live. Go sign up now at the FNGacademy.com. Click the mentorship program. We have 3 tiers. Tier 3, if you just want to support the channel or if you just want the exclusive content, it's $25 a month. We're doing weekly video drops on there, and it's the best way to help support us so we can keep doing what we're doing. Tier 2 is coaching in group sessions, and tier 1 is one-on-one coaching with a Green Beret. Also, this video is sponsored by 18 Alpha Fitness. If you want to be SF, you need to be in shape, go check out Kevin over at 18 Alpha Fitness. Use code word BUCK and he'll hook you up.
All right, so we want to talk about another important part when you're going out and you're actually getting rucking, and that's what you're wearing. So you can't see, but under here, well, probably one of the most important things I have is my underwear actually. So I have performance boxer briefs. It's like a spandex. And so why that's so important is when you're out here doing these long movements, those thighs are rubbing, you've got your pants up in there, and it's just constant friction. So worst thing you can do is start getting that chafing. That chafing sucks. So there's a couple things you can do to mitigate that. For one, earlier you saw me with the squirrel's nut butter. That's one thing you can use, just lather it up between the thighs. But my favorite thing, honestly, is some good spandex underwear. Then you don't have to worry about the nut butter. The only issue with that though is when you get to selection or some of these other Army schools, they don't allow you to wear those spandex underwear. So you do either regular underwear or Ranger panties. Honestly, is one of the best things, and just lather up those thighs. Another good tip for the squirrel's nut butter is the nipples. One of the worst things you can do, again, is start getting that nipple chafe. You see guys, you just pull it up online, like pictures of people bleeding through the nipples. It's miserable. My first marathon, I didn't realize about that, and I wore a regular t-shirt instead of a performance fabric. And by the halfway point, I already started feeling it. By the end, it was like somebody just took sandpaper to my nipples. So, you know, sounds kind of funny sometimes, but you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself, because that's what's going to keep you going. And one less thing that you got to worry about dealing with all that pain. Alright, so anytime you're doing any kind of movement like this, you always want to think about your feet, right? So the footwear that you wear is going to be extremely important. Same thing with wanting to prevent chafing with the nut butter or the underwear, is you want to prevent blisters. So blisters is a very small thing, but it can wreck your game. It'll take you out quicker than anything else. So you want to make sure you're preventing blisters as much as possible. If you're in your train up phase and you get blisters, it's going to derail your train up. If it's day of, it's going to derail your performance day of, you know. So for me, for this time, I'm rocking these are my trail running shoes. They're super comfortable. They're kind of perfect for this. But that being said, if you're training up for anything in the military, whether it's SFAS, Ranger School, anything like that, or just a military ruck, you're going to want to wear what you're going to wear the actual day of. So you're going to want to wear your military boots. So whatever kind of military boots you wear, whether it's the Nikes, Garmonts, whatever, there's a plethora of brands. Find what works best for you. Get some boots, break them in, make sure that they're broken in. You do not want to get out and do a long ruck with brand new boots, you're gonna wreck your feet, you're gonna derail your train up, and you're gonna derail your performance day of if you do that. So boots is important. If you don't need to wear the boots for train up, you can wear regular shoes like I am, wear these. You know, unfortunately I don't have any broken in military boots anymore, so this is what I got. So this is what I'm wearing today. Most important thing though is just being out there, getting used to having the weight on your back and getting used to seeing how your body reacts, right? Once you put this ruck on, everything from your neck, your shoulders, your hips, knees, ankles, all of it, you'll start to feel it all over your body. So that's the most important thing, is just getting out there, getting rucking, getting used to having weight on your back. Because if you're going to SFAS, you're going to have a ruck on your back 90% or more of the time. Everything except for your day one PT test and your unknown time and distance runs. After that, you got a ruck on all the time. So get used to having a ruck on your back. Whew. You can see I'm sweating. So it reminds me that when you're doing any of these events, another very important thing is that you're staying up on your hydration. So ideally, the day before you've already started hydrating, but day of, like right now, I'm pouring sweat, right? It's not even that hot today, but it's a lot of effort, especially when you're doing this with weight on your back. So you want to make sure you're keeping up with your hydration. So you're constantly drinking, ideally. A lot of people I've seen do rucks and won't drink the whole time. That's the wrong answer. You know, wind up getting super dehydrated and it's going to affect your performance. So as you're going, I have this 2-quart on the back of here. I would probably venture to say that it's going to be empty by the time we're done with this, because I drink a lot of water during these movements. Because again, dehydration, it's the silent killer. You want to make sure that you're not getting dehydrated on one of these movements. All right, so earlier we spoke about kind of how I fuel for one of these, right? So my bagel with the peanut butter and the bananas and all that. But that's only going to get you through the first little bit, right? So you got to think, when you're out here doing anything like this, whether it's a long run or ruck or whatever, you're burning a lot of calories. So you're going to have to replace a lot of those nutrients that you're getting rid of. So one thing I like to do, right today I've got a fig bar. It's not going to be a super long one, so this should get me through. If it's going to be something multiple hours, many miles, like marathon distance or even a 12 mile, what I'll do for that is I like to bring the goo gels, and generally those once every 45 minutes helps keeps your energy up. And then I also like to do Snickers, so I'll either get a Snickers bar, cut it in little pieces, or just get little fun size Snickers. That's just something I like. You know, Snickers, it's a little bit of boost. You get a little chocolate, you get the peanuts, you get the caramel, all that good stuff. It's just a little morale boost for me. But it's important that you keep up on your nutrition while you're going. The last thing you want to do while you're out is have all your nutrients get depleted and you hit that wall. When they talk about the wall, that's just when your energy is just done. You're completely dead and it's almost impossible to keep going at that point. So it's much better to stay ahead of that than to hit that wall and try to come back from that. That's very difficult to come back from that wall. So we just took a little break. You know, we're doing a lot coming uphill instead of just a flat ruck. So I'm gonna eat my bar real quick, get a little snack in me, and then we're gonna keep moving. We made it to the top of whatever little area this is. I think we can see kind of where we came from down there. But so basically, I don't even know if you could tell, but if you could see, like, we've got quite a bit of elevation change coming up here. It's just been switchbacks back and forth going up. You know, one of the things coming from a mountain team, my team, I was on a mountain team in SF, is like I've done a lot of mountaineering, a lot of climbing, a lot of hiking up mountains with packs on. And this one, like, shameless plug or not, like, this is actually like super fucking comfortable. The weight is right where I want it. It's not moving around, it's not bouncing on me. So it's made this a lot easier than it should have been. I'm kind of out of practice. I live in Florida now, so I haven't done much elevation other than Catalina. We saw how that went. But man, this is night and day difference from that Catalina pack. That Catalina pack was all over the place. It was fat and just fluffing, or it was flat and just shaking all over the place on me. But this one's right where I wanted to be, man. What do you want to do, Abel?
I think we hit the top of this mountain and turn back.
All right. Let's go to the top, and then we'll turn back.
Let's go.
Where is the top?
It's up there.
It's up, okay.
I don't know how else to describe how long it's going to take to get there. But.
It's up there. I'm the king of the world. Oh, made it. Oh, buddy. That was a bitch. Whew. I gotta catch my breath. Take a little break. Get ready to head back down. Alright guys, so there you have it. We just did a hike up Two Trees Trail. Man, this thing performed great, like exactly what it was designed for. I got the weight, as you can see, right where I want it. It's steady, it's stable, it's not moving around on me. It's using the same frame and pads that you're using when you go to selection, when you go to Ranger School, when you're getting the same stuff you're getting issued in the Army. So it's, you know, it's a purpose-built performance piece of kit that does exactly what it's meant to do. So we went over some tips and tricks, how I like to fuel for a ruck, how I like to hydrate for a ruck, my recommendations for how to dress, how to prevent chafing, all that kind of stuff. And remember, these are all things that I like to do, right? Everybody's gonna be a little bit different, so don't be afraid to kind of take some of the advice and kind of tweak it for yourself, right? Some people, you know, they don't need to do the nut butter or whatever. Some people prefer different boots. You know, everybody has their own preferences. So take the advice and use it, and if you like it, keep it. If you need to switch it, you can do that. If you don't like it, you don't like it, whatever. It's not for everybody, but that's how I like to prepare and how I like to do this. So, you know, it's been a successful day. I think it's time for a celebratory beer. Let's get down off this mountain now.